Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about a question that was posed in a group that I belong to. It was a group, not a group chat, but a group. And it was simply this. It was posted in there and it said, hey, I want to learn how to use Linux terminal. Where and how should I start? Paraphrased, so to speak. But nonetheless, the gist was that the person had posted because they wanted to learn how to use terminal better or command line better. But where do I start? And of course, that wound up generating a plethora of answers, because there are actually a plethora of answers that could be posed or proposed that are correct, but in my humble opinion, are not exactly concise. And that's something that I think as a whole people need to work on doing a little bit better, is being more concise in how we answer new to Linux users. I remember years ago, I would ask somebody a question and I would get the famed Google it. And I was like, okay, so I Googled it. I learned how to Google a lot of stuff. And yeah, the answers were there, but so were a ton of other answers that really, truly confused me to begin with. So that's why I wanted to make this video today, because I don't want people to get too confused by the plethora of answers that they're going to get. And that's okay. Like I said, 90% of those answers to 95% of them were all correct. Some of them were just off the cuff stuff, but nonetheless. So let's understand command line first, what it is. Command line, when somebody's talking about using command line, they're talking about entering a command into the Linux terminal with values, arguments, or flags, whichever one it is that you want to call it, and executing said task, whether it's launching an app, whether it's editing a config file, or copying and pasting something somewhere, or creating a directory, or yada, 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 plethora of different things. That's basically what they're talking about. Now, what if it were... Would it surprise you if I were to tell you that you used command every time that you used your desktop for everything that you did? Most people would be like, whoa, yes. And some people would be like, yeah, I already know that. But the truth is you do. You see, 9 times out of 10, most people have a desktop environment installed on their computer, because you either have a desktop environment, or people just use window managers, or they use no graphical user, anything at all, and just go straight from command line. And that's okay. Now, a desktop environment literally is using command line in every function that it does. When you say you want to open up to adjust a setting on your computer, KDE. You go to KDE system settings, click on the icon. When the minute you click on that icon, what that icon does is it launches a little script in the background, in the back side of, on the back end of it, and it sends a command to your shell to say, launch the system settings app. So it opens up that system settings app. Then you pick whatever setting it is that you want to adjust. You click on that. Once again, you click, a script is ran, and that application, or that whatever it is that you clicked on, launches and opens up. In there, you adjust your settings. You click one radio button, you move one slider, whatever you do. It literally writes a little command in the background to your terminal, to your bash, to your shell, and it executes what it is that you're telling it to do. So you're literally using command. Only difference is you're doing it through a mouse pointer and not actually typing it. So that being said, to understand it on that level can blow some people's minds away. Now, this gentleman asked, how can I get better at it? Well, it's pretty simple. Stop using all the GUI stuff. Open up a terminal. Start typing it. Learn to type the commands. Like simple ones, like instead of when you want to, go to the internet and do something on the internet, open up a terminal in Ubuntu and most of your Debian base, a lot of Linux distribution, Control-Alt-T. Learn to use shortcuts too. Keyboard key bindings. Control-Alt-T opens up terminal. Run Firefox. Or you don't even have to write, not run, just Firefox and hit enter. And it'll open up Firefox or Brave or whatever, or OBS Studio or Steam or whatever. And you will launch it right from terminal. When you click on that icon, that's exactly what it's the little thing, the command that it's running in the background in a shell script. It says Steam, and it'll launch it, or Firefox or whatever. So, in just cutting out the clicking part, you're just typing it into terminal. You want to copy a file. It is, if you're copying it from your home directory, it's just CP and then the path to where you want to copy it to. If it's from a non-home directory, a system directory, you're going to have to do a sudo command because you have to give it those executable permissions. That's just a few examples of what you do, and that's how you get better. It isn't going and reading 25 manuals. I mean, there's manuals out there like, Linux for Dummies. There's command line, for dummies. There's all kinds of books out there that you can download and read in PDF or whichever. And of course, you've got the infamous Google. Google it up, do that and start doing this, actually typing them in or copying and pasting them in for the moment if you're not sure. But that's also dangerous too. You definitely want to understand and read up on the fact of what you're doing, because there are a lot of people out there that will post things to do that are actually detrimental to you. And to that, I'll come into the second half of what a person who's asking how to get better at command line is actually feeling. And that second half is, what if I bork my system because I type in something wrong, or I misunderstood something and I gave the wrong flag or the wrong variable? What happens? Well, number one, you should always be backing up your system, keeping all your backups in order, keeping them nice and, safe location. Certainly not on the system that you're actually using. It should be like off-site, maybe onto like a thumb drive or even a network drive somewhere that you have connected to your, back of your router or whatever through the USB port, and set up a share on there so you can access it through the network and save to that, or another actual hard drive that's mounted on the inside of your box where you can save them to. So just save, just make sure that they're safe, and just, if that's the case, and you do bork your system, well, you just learn what not to type, right? And you can either roll it back or, worst case scenario, reinstall it and go over again. I mean, it takes 10 minutes to install Linux? Almost every average distribution is about 5-10 minutes. I mean, on most hardware, even lighter hardware, it could be 15 minutes, whichever. But either way, just roll it back and start over again. That's the great thing about this is it's a learning experience, And of course, like I said, anything important, always keep safe, in a backup somewhere. So you can just, boom, within 10 minutes, you're up and running with it restored back to the way it was right before you borked it. So, do that and just start over again. I understand that there's a fear. That's why you do a lot of reading on what is you trying to do. You read, different things, go to different forums, different chats. Certainly try your distribution discussion boards, that you're using in forums that they may have, and go ask in there, hey, I want to do this, how can I do that, and people will give you the command line all the time. A lot of times, subreddits are a good place to go. There's lots of different places out there you can go to learn different command line terminals that'll help you out. So with that, I just simply want to say, guys, don't be afraid to try stuff. Don't be afraid to get out of the comfort zone of pointing and clicking. I mean, ideally, that's not what Linux is about, because you're actually limiting yourself on Linux. You have more power and more control if you get comfortable with the command line and terminal. You can unlock so much more potential out of your system. Eventually, it'll lead you to actually leave an actual desktop environment and move to a power user type scenario where you're running just a window manager and pretty much doing everything with shortcut keys and terminals. And eventually, once you become an actual Linux guru, then you won't even need a window manager. You can just do everything from a TTY or from a bash shell. So, I mean, you're going to have X to display certain things like Firefox and web browsers and, some programs, but you won't need an actual anything, to really launch it, because you can just do it all from terminal, from your bash shell, which that can be dangerous too. But that's why that's for very seasoned vets. So either way, if you guys have any thoughts or comments on what I just said, please don't forget to, you can always leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. For sure, smash that like button. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And also, guys, if you have any additional ideas that you'd like me to do for the show, please go ahead and leave them in the comments as well, and I'll make sure to try to handle those as much as I can. And I also will probably communicate that I'm working on it and let you know. Other than that, you guys stay blessed, stay strong, and y'all keep doing what you do, and have a great day, and keep on Linuxing.